It dresses up our dogs, sets fire to our taste buds. It can be thick or chunky, tangy or sweet.
More barbeque sauce.
Condiments seem to make everything taste better. To uncover the secrets inside those sauces, we go behind the scenes of American condiment making. From the latest in mustard-making technology to the science inside a barrel of the world's leading hot sauce.
Smell good, taste good.
To the process for taking a new flavor from the lab to the shelves. On American Eats, Condiments. At a factory in Springfield, Michigan, mustard bottles fly down the production line at a rate of 300 bottles per minute.
We produce 370,000 bottles every single day.
On Avery Island in Louisiana, 80 giant mixing vats swirl 2,000 gallons of pepper mash, vinegar, and salt for 28 days straight to make a fiery hot sauce. In Paris, Texas, giant slicers shred up to 100,000 pounds of jalapeno peppers daily to make salsa.
We produce 500,000 jars of salsa each day.
Welcome to the world of condiment making in the 21st century. From mayonnaise to steak sauce, maple syrup to salsa, Americans are squeezing, squirting, smothering, and spicing up their food like never before.
Condiments add flavor to food, they add color to food, and they add texture to food that wouldn't be there otherwise. You want to get something that would give it a different flavor so that you can enjoy it more.
It's more than taste, it's aroma, it's the whole experience, the mouth, feel, everything.
Today, this craving for condiments racks up sales of about $7 billion a year. Pretty impressive for a food that's rarely the main event, but always an essential.
It's hard to eat a French fry without ketchup. It's got to have something.
Who can think of a better time than sitting on a Saturday afternoon with a hot dog, with some French's mustard, and watching your favorite baseball team play?
There are few American-originated condiments. Like the majority of us, most are immigrants to these shores. But it is the journey once they get here that has turned ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, and salsa into staples of American cuisine and culture.
You know, if America is considered the melting pot, maybe the thing that binds everything together in that melting pot was the condiment.
If there's one condiment that ignites the American passion for eating like no other, it's hot sauce.
I take a burger and put hot sauce on it, and now that's a carnival of a burger to me.
The hotter, the better. I like food that bites back. If there isn't a little pain in eating hot sauce, you have not chosen a hot enough sauce.
Today, hot sauce comes in an incredible amount of varieties to burn up the tongue. There's pure revenge hot sauce, liquid stupid, Krakatoa, and sudden death. Showing that when it comes to condiments, Americans want to breathe fire.
Hot sauce has a reaction to your body of releasing endorphins, which are, the pleasure signal for our bodies.
Providing all the heat to the hot sauce industry is the chili pepper. Inside are the seeds that contain the key ingredient, capsaicin.
Capsaicin is an odorless oil found in the placenta inside the chili.
It is the actual active ingredient that produces heat. The reason that you feel more of this burning or pleasure or pain or whatever you want to call it is because of capsaicin.
Native to the New World, chili peppers, which come in different varieties like the habanero and jalapeno, have been used by people to add a kick to their food as far back as 7000 BC.
The Peruvians and Bolivians pickled it in vinegar and therefore used it as a condiment to either marinate or preserve meats, because meats are very difficult to come by.
Eventually, those peppers found their way to North America in the 1800s, gaining a strong hold in southern regions where spicy foods have a long tradition. It was here that one man would become the first to transform the Tabasco pepper into a phenomenon. His name, Edmund McIlhenny. Born in 1815, McIlhenny was a New Orleans banker forced into exile during the Civil War. After the war was over, McIlhenny took his family to live on an island off the Louisiana coast, Avery Island. It was here that McIlhenny would see his life unexpectedly transformed.
It was only out of this desperate financial situation that he stumbled on the idea, why don't I make a pepper sauce and sell it commercially?
The island's subtropical weather was perfect for growing peppers. Peppers which McElhenney named Tabasco, after a region in Mexico.
It's the top of a dome of salt that may be 10 miles deep and 2 miles across. And there are thousands of them, I think, in the Gulf Coast, but only in 5 places did they actually push up the surface. And Avery Island is one of those.
So not only did he have the Tabasco chilies that he grew, but he also had the salt, because the salt dome. So they had 2 of the ingredients, and all they needed was vinegar, which was easy to acquire.
It took 3 years for Edmund McElhenney to perfect the formula for his sauce.
Originally, everything was done by hand.
He had maybe 4 or 5 people who would help him pick peppers. He would grind the peppers and he would put them in stoneware jars for 30 days. After that, he would put them in another stoneware jar, this time with salt and vinegar, and age it for another 30 days.
That aging process would become the keystone to the McElhenney Company's empire, which is still in operation on Avery Island. Barrels have long since replaced stone jars, and they now age the peppers for 3 years instead of 30 days. But other than that, they use the same 140-year-old recipe. First, whiskey barrels are cleaned and prepped.
This is the steel brush that we use. It takes about 2 minutes to dechar a barrel. Then we'll turn around, we'll rinse the barrel all out. Then we're ready to put mash in for the next 3 years.
Then it's time for the pepper mash, which is a mixture of raw peppers and salt.
This barrel here is a barrel of fresh ground pepper mash. We just fill it in today, and it's good, it tastes good. It's got the right color.
Now it's ready for aging.
Aging, we think, is key. It gives it a much more mellow, distinct flavor than just the raw, fresh peppers.
The aging process begins when the barrel is sealed and the mash begins to ferment naturally.
Nothing can get into the barrel once I cap it.
And then over the top of that barrel, we put salt so that too much air doesn't get back in.
We keep adding salt on it every day till it's finished fermentation, and when it's finished fermentation, the salt is going to get hard as a rock. This here is how it's going to get.
And in that wooden cover is a little pressure valve plug that releases the pressure from carbon dioxide being given off during fermentation.
It'll fermentation like this for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Now the salt acts as a seal too on the barrel, so nothing can get in.
That's important because too much air will oxidize the top layer of mash, and it will spoil.
It's impossible to completely prevent oxidation, so when the barrels are finally opened 3 years later, they must dig deep to get the bright red pepper mix suitable for bottling.
I'm doing this here to take the mold or any discarded pepper that's on top. We don't use these peppers here. You see right here? Scoop size red. You see how it's coming up red now? That's the good stuff. And this is how you want it to look after 3 years. Smell good, taste good.
When the barrels are open, the mashed peppers are drained, then piped into giant 2,000-gallon tanks where they're stirred for 28 straight days with vinegar.
It takes 28 days for the vinegar and the peppers to blend together so it won't separate.
Finally, the finished mixture is sent to the high-speed bottling line. In Edmund McElhenney's time, the sauce was bottled and labeled by hand.
He put it in, the story goes, recycled cologne bottles that he obtained from the plantation trash heap here on the island.
The sauce and the unique bottle eventually became a hit, and a condiment sensation was born.
E. McElhenney, during his lifetime, put up about 350,000 bottles. And now we make 3 times that in a day.
Today, this iconic little bottle of fire is a staple for hot sauce lovers.
There was always a joke that you'd never actually empty a bottle of Tabasco, that you'd never actually need that much of it. Your grandfather might hand down the Tabasco sauce bottle to your father, who might hand it down to you.
McElhenney's Tabasco sauce would remain the dominant hot sauce for more than a century. Then, in the 1980s, America's changing tastes led to a hot sauce revolution.
Mexican restaurants, starting with your little taco stands, and from there you'd go into the big chains, and people would then be more exposed to the pepper sauces and different types of sauces. And from that point on, once people tried something, the more experimenting they would do.
Today, Tabasco is joined by a new breed of hot sauce maker, the Chili Head.
I'm the man who makes the hottest products on the planet.
Meet Blair Lazar, a self-confessed chili head who's been making his own brand of hot sauce since 1989. Today, Blair's company, Blair Sauces and Snacks, produces several million bottles a year of what he calls death sauces. All are marked with a cautionary label.
You have everything from sudden death, mega death, after death, sweet death, instant death.
In 2004, Blair Lazar produced the hottest sauce ever recorded and landed in the Guinness Book of Records.
In a very extreme way, we take the hot sauce and just continue to cook it and cook it and cook it, where all the other impurities are removed, and what we have left is pure capsaicin, ultimately.
Today, the Chili Head phenomenon has spawned an entire culture of hot sauce connoisseurs.
There are entire mail order catalogs that have nothing but these kinds of sauces in them, page after page after page. It is niche marketing gone mad.
It is an extreme sport. Eating our hot sauces in a lot of ways is just that. It's a sport. It's a challenge. It's not just sitting down and having a cup of tea.
On its busiest days, Katz's Delicatessen in New York City serves up 2,000 pastrami sandwiches and 25 to 35 gallons of mustard.
Everything needs something to top it off. For a delicatessen, mustard is the #1 condiment.
Sandwich making here is a century-old ritual. Slice the pastrami and lather with thick mustard.
Well, the sandwiches are so large that you need the coating on both sides. With the proper deli mustard, it's just right.
Today, mustard in America is a $300 million industry. But its original roots extend back to our ancient past.
We know that the Greeks and the Romans had it. We know that the Egyptians grew it. There were mustard seeds found in some of the tombs of the ancient pharaohs.
Mustard is drawn from the mustard plant in the family Cruciferae. Each seed is made up of 30 to 35% oil. Early mustard makers used stones to break down the seeds.
The secret was to try and get it as fine as possible. They would just crush the seeds and push them through some kind of a sieve.
Then they mix the remaining powder with water, vinegar, or wine, causing a chemical reaction.
People discovered that mustard seeds, when crushed and combined with some kind of liquid, would release the essential oils and the essential flavor.
By the 14th century, mustard was found throughout Europe, with different regions developing their own flavors. In the 17 and 1800s, successive waves of immigrants brought their mustards to America and started their own businesses. In 1862, Charles Goulden began selling Goulden's mustard in New York City. About 20 years later, German immigrant Moritz Plockmann was selling Plockmann's in Chicago. These early mustards were spicy, brown, and strong, not yet the everyday yellow condiment that mustard would become.
Up to that point, mustard had been something that was seen as something you used sparingly. It wasn't the kind of condiment that you had in a squeeze bottle and you put it on everything.
All that would change with the efforts of one American family, the Frenches. In 1885, Robert French was operating a flour mill and spice business in Rochester, New York. The business was moderately successful until his son Francis came on board with the idea of creating a completely different kind of mustard.
He wanted something different. He wanted it light. He wanted it creamy. He wanted it bright. And in his mind, if he did that, then he would clearly change the way people thought about mustard.
He also wanted it mild.
Think of it. Sharp mustards are things that you have small amounts of. If it's milder, you're more likely to eat more of it.
In 1904, the Frenches unveiled their bright yellow mustard. They called it French's Cream Salad Brand Mustard, the original name of French's Classic Yellow.
The fact that it was a bright yellow color, I think was enormously significant because people were looking for excitement. And it was excitement on the tongue, but also visual excitement.
At first, the Frenches envisioned their mustard less as a condiment, more as an ingredient.
It was something that the homemaker could use in potato salad or an egg salad, something to add a little bit of extra spice.
But the salad idea was soon overwhelmed by the quick rise of another iconic American food, the hot dog. Mustard had found its perfect fit.
The hot dog alone needs something to give it some additional flavor.
It's that savory taste of the hot dog along with the bite of the mustard that really makes that a success.
Together, the two found a home at ballparks across the country, and an American tradition was born.
For so many people, it is the all-American food because of our love for baseball. There's even a phrase now that a pitcher who can throw particularly hard, throw a real fast fastball, says he put some mustard on it.
By 1915, the story goes, French's made the association with baseball a permanent part of their company's image.
Some historians say they took a cue from baseball and the pennants around Wrigley's Field, and they incorporated their name into the red pennant we know today.
The branding of French's continued in the late 20s with the introduction of a mascot, Hot Dan the Mustard Man, and a bold campaign to establish French's across the country.
You see that in the pages of Good Housekeeping from the 1920s, where you had these full-page ads about mustard.
Over a 3-year period, they grew the business by over 50%.
The fast rise of French's forced other companies to defend themselves. By the 1920s, both Plockman's and Gulden's started making their own yellow mustards. But they were unable to match French's dominance, especially when French's started advertising on TV.
French's mustard.
Spread the good word. Soon, the French's were outselling all the competitors combined by 5 times. But when it came time for the next big innovation in mustard, it was the little guy, Plockman's, who would trump French's. In 1957, they introduced the first successful plastic condiment container.
The squeeze bottle not only eliminates the need for utensils, but it also brings a new stage of entertainment into the preparation of your food, which is the ability to squirt. There is nothing quite so satisfying as a big squeeze across a hot dog or around in swirls on a hamburger.
In 1974, French's finally introduced its own squeeze bottle and saw its own sales boom. Today, at the French's factory in Springfield, Missouri, they've updated that bottle and they're making 300 of them every minute. That's 125 million bottles a year, equivalent to 1 for every 2 people in the United States.
These bottles can go at such a rapid rate, put the mustard in it, close the cap, put it in the case, and have it literally go right on a truck.
But before you can get to the end of the line, you've got to start at the beginning. It takes 10,000 of these tiny seeds to make just 1 bottle of classic yellow. And every week, the plant imports 3 to 4 rail cars filled with mustard seeds from Canada, one of the world's largest producers of mustard seeds. Once they're in the plant, the seeds are given a final cleaning.
This particular unit is a Carter Day cleaner. It's used to remove fine material as well as oversized material. This device behind me will do 25,000 pounds an hour.
The seed is then mixed with vinegar, water, and spices and piped to the next key machine, the mustard mill. Encased in each mill are 2 razor-sharp stones that literally cut the mustard.
The grinding stones are made of silicon carbide, and they weigh about 25 pounds each.
While one stone is stationary, the other grinds against it at a rate of 3,600 revolutions per minute on a 36-horsepower motor.
Through centrifugal force, the mustard blend forces its way through the stones, and when it comes out the outside, we have that nice creamy consistency that everyone loves. The distance between the stones is critical to achieving the perfect grind. For example, yellow mustard is creamy, so the distance is really close, less than 2 millimeters. A brown mustard, which tends to have speckles in it and tends to be coarser, is a little bit larger than that. We're talking 3 to 4 millimeters.
The now creamy mustard is sent on to the next stage.
This is the mustard storage area. After the mustard has been milled, these drums hold 10,000 gallons of finished mustard product. The mustard, once it's first milled, is very, very strong. Mustard oil has a lot of heat. So right now, you wouldn't want to eat it. It'll clear your sinuses. After a few hours, when it goes into the bottles, it begins to mellow out.
Yellow mustard is still the dominant force in the industry, but these days a slew of gourmet mustards are sharing the shelves with Big Yellow. The trend kicked off in the 1980s with the media and mustard sensation.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon, monsieur. Would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course, Grey Poupon.
That was certainly one of the most important pieces of food advertising in the 20th century.
Grey Poupon, by being so successful, opened up the floodgates for designer mustard, specialized mustard, mustard with a little bit of this, mustard with a little bit of that.
Fruit-flavored mustards, herb and vegetable mustards, onion mustards, garlic mustards, hot pepper mustards. So there are so many different styles of mustard.
Today's mustard lovers have never had it so good. From yellow to Dijon to the wild flavors of today, the choices just keep on growing. No condiment is more widely used than ketchup. It's found in 97% of American households and 4 out of 5 restaurants. Ketchup's popularity has made it an American food icon. But its original roots are far from America and the thick red tomato paste we recognize today.
It started really with the Chinese back around 1649, and they made it with fish and shellfish.
Fish was a staple of the Chinese diet. Fermenting the fish into a preserved sauce was a way to make it last longer.
One of the ways you preserve fish is by adding salt to it and then controlling the fermentation process.
When things ferment, they break down and liquefy. The resulting juice was made into a sauce they called ketchup.
So the idea of a ketchup was that you could preserve a product beyond its normal life, beyond the time of which you would have had to have used it.
When British colonists reached Asia in the 17th century, they discovered the process for ketchup and brought it home to England, where they began experimenting.
And you can make a ketchup out of virtually anything, and they did. From apples to oranges to pears to string beans, walnut ketchup and mushroom ketchup. They ended up with literally hundreds of different types of ketchups.
By the 18th century, ketchup had made its way to America, where it would be transformed yet again thanks to the tomato.
Virtually everybody in the United States in the mid-19th century had a garden. Almost everybody grew tomatoes. You have a lot of leftover tomatoes, and what do you do with them? So tomato ketchup really does become not the only ketchup, but certainly the dominant ketchup in the United States by the 1850s.
At the time, ketchup was primarily a homemade product, and it wasn't easy to make.
You'd have to take the tomatoes, you put them into a big pot. You had to boil those for 3 or 4 hours until they became very thick and pasty. And then you had to add spices to them. It took hours and hours to make ketchup at home.
Homemade ketchup gave way to a factory-made product following the Civil War, when tomato canning became a major industry.
You ended up with a lot of rotten core parts. And what you would do is you'd cut all this stuff out, throw it into a barrel, and you'd save these barrels until after the tomato season was over. Then you begin your bottling, and that's what the first ketchup was all about.
To disguise the sour taste of fermented tomatoes and to give a bright red color, manufacturers added preservatives like borax, benzoate of soda, and aniline dye, a derivative of coal tar.
And then, of course, the color didn't look right, so they began adding those things which put the bright red color in as well, including some people put paint in it. So you have a whole lot of nefarious activities going on in the ketchup business.
These early ketchups were also much thinner than the product we recognize today. Because ketchups were so thin, bottles with narrow necks became the norm. By the late 1800s, Americans were crazy over ketchup, using it as an ingredient in things like sauces and savory dishes and as a condiment, most often put on top of roast meats. Local companies all over America began cashing in on the ketchup craze.
Virtually every community that raised tomatoes also had a ketchup factory that was associated with it. Literally every community would have had a ketchup.
But one would stand out.
Henry Heinz was born in 1844 in a little town called Birmingham, which was south of Pittsburgh. He always liked farming, so his mother gave him a whole field in back of their house to start making a little garden and planting it and seeing what he could do with it.
By 12, Henry was selling his vegetables to neighbors. By 25, he owned his own bottled food company. His first product was grated horseradish, followed quickly by pickles, sour onions, green pepper sauce, and in 1876, ketchup.
It wasn't the main item that he made. Pickles were really his main product. He was known as the pickle king back then because he made about 7 or 8 different pickle varieties, and they had the tomato ketchup.
A master marketer, Heinz put his ketchup in distinctive bottles with eye-catching labels. In 1890, he hit upon the now famous Keystone-shaped bottle and label, a tribute to his home, Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. By 1906, Heinz got another opportunity to distinguish its ketchup from the competition. That year, the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act put strong pressure on manufacturers to limit their use of preservatives in foods like ketchup, including the popular benzoate of soda. This was good news for Heinz, who touted his ketchup as 100% natural.
He started advertising it that way. He got to even putting it on his bottles. On the shoulder of the ketchup label, he put right on there, free of benzoate of soda, right on the packaging.
Without preservatives, most other ketchup manufacturers were forced to change the way they made their product. They couldn't use rotten tomatoes anymore. Instead, they needed fresh tomatoes picked at a certain point of ripeness. Plus, the right combination of salt, sugar, and vinegar needed to be added. Suddenly, making ketchup was more expensive.
A large number of ketchup manufacturers concluded that they could not produce ketchup in the way that the law required, and so a lot of ketchup manufacturers dropped out.
Although there were some survivors, like Hunt's, a canned tomato company that also made ketchup, none was much of a challenge. By 1908, Heinz was the largest ketchup producer in the country. Throughout the teens and 20s, ketchup remained popular as both an ingredient and condiment. But the balance between the two was about to shift. Ketchup meet fast food.
Fast food began in the 1920s, but they really don't become a dominant part of American life until after World War II. After that, it really becomes a condiment, in which case it becomes a commonplace on every table, in every restaurant, in every diner, in every cafeteria. It really becomes dominant throughout the United States.
Fast food cuisine was perfect for the condiment. These little flat hamburger patties had to be juiced up with something, and ketchup was a perfect start for that.
The spread of fast food boosted the ketchup industry. By 1964, the ketchup king, Heinz, was no longer the top dog. Hunt's, Del Monte, and Heinz each had a 20% share of the market. But Heinz wasn't about to give up its premier status so easily. As early as the 1920s, Heinz had hyped the thickness of their ketchup, a way to turn the slow speed of the condiment through its signature thin-neck bottle into a strength.
Announcing the first televised ketchup race.
In the 1960s, they took that idea to the airwaves.
Heinz loses.
Thanks in part to their creative advertising campaigns, Heinz's sales increased throughout the 1960s. Ever since, it's been the world's largest producer of ketchup. From the super factories of Heinz to the more modest plants of smaller operators, ketchup manufacturing has come a long way. Today, tomatoes can be processed, cooled, packaged, and packed in a truck all within 2 hours. But being more efficient doesn't necessarily mean that ketchup has become more popular.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Salsa. It's a unique stew of tomatoes, chili pepper, onions, and salt. Though it hasn't been in America as long as ketchup and doesn't have the diverse European tradition of mustard, it has climbed to the top of the condiment ladder to become #1.
Salsa is a perfect product. It's a condiment. It's a food. Watch anybody eating salsa with chips, and it's not that genteel eating of ketchup with French fries. They're really piling on the salsa, so the condiment is a food.
It's been a fairy tale ascent for a humble Mexican foodstuff that's been spicing up tables south of the border for centuries.
Salsas were used for not only toppings for meats, they were also used for cooking. They would use them to just sprinkle on, just for flavor. They would try to enhance their foods.
It wasn't until the mid-19th century when salsa made a significant move north, and Americans got their first taste of the condiment they would come to love.
The people who weren't familiar with it ventured into the marketplaces of the Mexican communities and purchased the products or tried it, and then from that point, it started spreading.
As Americans moved south and west, they absorbed this delicious concoction into their diets. But salsa would remain entrenched in the barrio and out of reach of most Americans until one man would break it into the mainstream. In the late 1940s, David Pace, an ambitious young Texan, set salsa on the road to the big time. Young Pace had earned his stripes in the food business, working for a syrup company. Then World War II came along.
Sugar rationing from World War II dropped the bottom out for syrup demand, and he had to figure out something else to do.
Pace had an idea. He began experimenting with fresh ingredients, including jalapenos and tomatoes. He wanted to create a Texas syrup, something that would be sure to sell in the Lone Star State. He settled on his own brand of salsa, calling it Pace Picante, meaning spicy sauce.
David formalized a way to figure out how to make it shelf stable, and it would last up to 6 months on shelf, which was different than anyone else had been able to at the time.
In 1947, David Pace's Picante Salsa debuted. For its first few years, sales were good, but hardly a sensation.
It was really the push of ethnic foods and the growth of Mexican restaurants outside of the Southwest and outside of the West that consumers became more familiar with Mexican foods and wanted to bring that experience in home.
And what could be better than salsa and chips?
So they found that having chips and salsa, something that was a tabletop food at restaurants, was easy to replicate.
You had the excitement of eating something that tasted good. When you have salsa and chips versus a potato chip, you're adventuring, you're a little bit more exploratory when you eat.
That excitement caught on with manufacturers.
Companies such as Frito-Lay and Old El Paso, Ortega all saw Pace's growth in the salsa category and emulated their product and basically established the salsa category in the United States supermarket.
But it was Pace who dominated sales, and in 1991, the company launched the first national TV spot for salsa.
This ain't Pace Picante sauce. This stuff's made in New York City. New York City?
Get a rope.
Pick up the original. Pick up the Pace.
I think it separated Pace from a lot of their competition just because it showed that they were authentic, and I think that's what they were really going after, was the authentic take on their salsa. You can't have a good salsa from anywhere but the areas where the ingredients are.
The campaign drove salsa consumption into about 20 million new homes over the course of that time. So you're talking about almost 1/3 of today's households would have never experienced Pace Picante and salsa had it not been for that advertising campaign.
More picante sauce.
Between 1985 and 1990, sales of Mexican sauces grew 79%. By 1992, salsa sales surpassed ketchup, shocking the condiment industry.
In the 90s, the big story was the king of condiments has been dethroned, with now salsa taking over. As the price of salsa is higher than the price of ketchup, salsa has in fact outsold ketchup, which was a tremendous change and a tremendous concern for ketchup manufacturers in the early 1990s.
But ketchup wasn't so easily dethroned. In 2000, Heinz released a shocker of its own, bright green ketchup. Green ketchup made headlines and nightly newscasts everywhere.
Green ketchup caused every newspaper and every television and every radio in America covered this as some huge change. They got a lot of free publicity. It was a great move.
It absolutely did what it needed to. It got people to use it.
Salsa withstood the challenge. Nothing showed its new power more than the corporate buyout in 1995 of Pace by Campbell's Soup. The cost, an estimated $1.1 billion. Today at the Campbell's Soup facility in Paris, Texas, they slice, dice, mix, and bottle 500,000 pounds of Pace salsa a day, which equals about 500,000 containers. The first step begins with the processing of approximately 75,000 pounds of onions and 95,000 pounds of jalapeno peppers.
We purchase peppers from different areas of the country due to growing seasons, so that way we're always assured of having peppers.
The pepper and onions are chopped and washed before being blended together with the other ingredients, including a mixture of garlic and dehydrated onions, plus one of the key ingredients, tomato paste.
We use 65,000 pounds of crushed tomato paste per day in our paste picante and our salsa. Like you would buy your 8-ounce can of tomato paste at home, this is a 3,000-pound box of tomato paste.
Once everything is mixed and quality is checked, the jars are filled with salsa before being capped, cooled, and sent to the warehouse. If it seems like a less than high-tech process, that's because it is.
There really are no secrets. We produce salsa just like anyone else would produce it at home.
Well, maybe not entirely.
We do have a secret recipe, of course.
From store-bought salsas to gourmet, found in specialty markets across the country. In less than half a century, salsa has risen from a little-known regional sauce to become the most popular condiment in America. But what about the next big thing?
Sweet.
The dethroning of ketchup by the upstart salsa in the 1990s demonstrates how much American taste had changed. When it comes to condiments today, it's a whole new ballgame.
The old idea was you can't please all the people all the time. Marketing and manufacturers do not agree with that. They say if you make enough product lines, you will ultimately be able to please everybody, and that's what they're trying to do. Now there is a condiment for every taste.
And in all probability, that condiment is going to be dreamed up in a place like this.
Hi.
IFF, the world's largest research and development firm dedicated to the creation and manufacturing of new flavors.
We test everything from beverages, carbonated soft drinks, juices, through chewing gum and condiments. You name it, it comes through here.
IFF was formed in 1958 when two smaller flavor and fragrance companies merged. Today, it's a $2 billion business. At IFF, creating a new condiment is a process that can take anywhere from 3 months to several years. It all starts simply enough, in the kitchen, where the chef creates a prototype.
Today, the condiment or concept that we've come up with is called sweet heat. It's combining the sweetness of a pineapple that's been cooked and caramelized on the grill with the spicy pungency of a habanero pepper.
Executive chef Kevin McDermott spent over 20 years working in gourmet restaurants and traveling the world as a product development chef before coming to IFF in 2002.
In order to prepare the condiment, we're going to be combining grilled pineapple, some cane sugar, and some spicy habanero pepper. We'll dice peppers and onions. We'll use tamarind and combine all of these flavors together and cook them up and bottle them or jar them. Here's our prepared condiment, cooked, ready to go. Sweet and heat.
But Chef McDermott's sauce won't end up on the supermarket shelf. Instead, IFF seeks to replicate that taste in the lab without any pineapples. And that job falls to a rare breed of technicians known as flavorists.
The flavorist is the combination of an artist and a chemist. I'd say less than 500 are actively pursuing the art. It takes many years, at least 10, for a flavorist to really be worth the salt.
Marion Sudol is one of 67 flavorists employed by IFF.
We work with Marion a lot in creating flavors. We call her flavors Marion's Magic.
Kevin has prepared what he feels is the right balance of sweet heat. And what I will do now is taste the pineapple and mentally and sensually divide all the attributes that I'm getting as I taste. It's good. It's good. It's a challenge.
Once she's tasted it, she's off to the lab. Marion's ingredients include an arsenal of over 3,000 different potions.
Here we're starting to build the flavor. So I started with the solvent. This will hopefully provide the brown sugar note. This one will give me some of the acidic, juicy notes that I'm also picking up in the basic pineapple. Okay, these last two have added the fresh fruitiness. The real work will come in deciding on the ratios of ingredients. This is all very precise.
To determine whether or not she's captured the right flavor, Marion might first taste the solution. However, more often than not, it's her nose that guides the way.
I will give it a blotter evaluation, which is simply dipping a paper blotter in and give it what we call a nasal appraisal and let it generate its aroma. I think it's going to be a winner.
Once the flavor is added to the prototype sauce, it's time to test it out. Which is why IFF also has a testing center run by the Director of Sensory and Consumer Insights, Kevin Sheridan. Kevin's department conducts 10 to 20 consumer tests every month.
What we're going to do is present our panelists with 3 different variations of a grilled pineapple flavor.
Thank you for paneling.
We're going to ask them how much they like that. Our hope is that we'll find the right flavor, right balance of grilled pineapple with the habanero flavor, and we'll see what the consumers say.
To limit distractions, panelists are separated and each placed in plain white rooms called sensory evaluation booths. This is so they won't be influenced by the reactions of other participants. The only thing for the panelists to see, sniff, and taste is the sweet heat condiment, which has been applied to chicken wings. The testers sample each wing and enter their answers directly into a computer that gauges their immediate reaction to the condiment. So, what's the verdict on sweet heat?
Yeah, it's a very juicy, fresh kind of pineapple.
It was too much pineapple. It was just too fruity and almost artificial tasting.
I like the middle level of the heat. The low level of the heat is also very pleasant.
I prefer to have the heat separate from the sweet.
I think it's a winner. I like it.
Only time will tell whether or not sweet heat will join the thousands of other condiments on the supermarket shelves. But one thing is guaranteed. Whenever and wherever we have a need to season, spice, and smother our favorite American eats, condiments will be there.
I'd hate to think of a world with no mustard. I'd hate to think of a world with no ketchup, and I'd hate to think of a world with no salsa. If we didn't have condiments, we'd invent them.